Have you ever thought that fasting is simply starving yourself to lose weight?
That it is a painful process of self-torture, a battle of willpower where you must try to endure a rumbling stomach in exchange for a slim waistline and a slightly smaller number on the scale? If you still hold that thought, your body is missing out on one of the most miraculous mechanisms of self-healing and biological upgrading that nature has bestowed upon humans. In the book Fast This Way by Dave Asprey, one of the world's leading biohackers, you will discover that scientific fasting is absolutely not a punishment for those who have accidentally eaten too much. On the contrary, it is truly a cutting-edge medical tool to reprogram your DNA. Healing chronic inflammation at its root, rejuvenating every aging cell, and raising your energy levels to an entirely new limit. Welcome back. Today, we will not talk about cliché diets, count soulless calories, or discuss superficial tips you can easily find online. We will together embark on a journey, diving deep inside the human body, dissecting it from the perspectives of neuroscience and molecular biology. We will examine what really happens beneath your skin when you stop putting food in your mouth, and how to turn fasting into a superpower that helps you master both body and mind. Prepare a quiet space for yourself, relax your body, because the knowledge that follows may shatter old beliefs and completely change how you view your own health from now on. Let's begin this journey by turning back time. Look at the evolutionary history of humanity. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors were hunter-gatherers. They didn't have refrigerators, no 24/7 supermarkets, and certainly no food delivery apps at their doorsteps. They woke up, took a starving stomach to hunt and gather, and might have spent many consecutive days before finding food. The human body was designed and honed through evolution to function perfectly, even reaching peak performance in a state without food. Hunger sharpened the senses, making the brain highly astute to help them survive. But look at us today. We are living in an era of unprecedented abundance. We eat from the moment we open our eyes until we close them to sleep. We eat main meals, snacks, nibble while working, and even while watching movies. Our bodies were never programmed to process such a continuous, non-stop amount of food. And that is the root cause of the current pandemic of obesity, diabetes, and metabolic diseases. To understand better, we need to clearly distinguish between two concepts, hunger and appetite. These are two completely different warning systems in your body. Hunger is a natural physiological call. When the stomach is truly empty, it secretes a hormone called ghrelin. This hormone travels to the brain, signaling that the body is lacking energy to maintain basic activities. That is a survival mechanism. As for appetite, it is a complex chemical reaction taking place in the brain's reward center, and it is strongly governed by dopamine. When you see a crispy fried chicken ad with melting cheese, when you smell garlic butter from a bakery, or simply when you are under pressure after a stressful meeting, the brain immediately screams for a large amount of sugar and starch to soothe emotions, creating a fake sense of satisfaction. The modern food industry, with huge laboratories, has spent billions of dollars researching the bliss point of taste. They create foods with a perfect combination of sugar, salt, and bad fats to trick your brain, creating an endless loop of addiction. When you start practicing fasting, you are not simply stopping calorie intake into your stomach. The truth is much greater. You are performing a dopamine detox at the neurological level. You are loudly telling your control center that I am the master of this brain, not those artificial cravings. When you overcome the feeling of rumbling, discomfort, and restlessness in the first few days, a miracle will happen. You will forge an invisible weapon called psychological flexibility. The ability to refuse the instant temptations of a sweet cake will automatically spread to other aspects of life. You will find it easy to say no to mindlessly scrolling social media during working hours. You stop procrastinating on a difficult project, and you start working with surprisingly focused efficiency. Fasting, first of all, is a weightlifting exercise for your willpower. But the most fascinating part, the true miracle of fasting,
lies deep at the cellular level through a grand biological process called self-eating, or in medical terms, autophagy. The 2016 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to Japanese scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi precisely for discovering this mechanism. Self-eating literally means eating oneself. Does it sound a bit creepy, like a sci-fi movie? But in reality, this is the most sophisticated biological cleaning, regeneration, and upgrading mechanism that our cells possess. Imagine this. Inside your body, there are two main metabolic pathways, like two opposing switches, mTOR and AMPK. When you intake food, especially protein and carbohydrates, the mTOR switch is turned on. This is a state of building and growing. The body is busy digesting, absorbing nutrients, and creating new cells. Like a bustling construction site, it has no time to clean up the trash. But when you actively stop eating for 14 to 16 hours, the external nutrient supply is cut off, the mTOR switch turns off, and the AMPK switch lights up. This is when the survival signal is activated. The body realizes there is no new food, so it is forced to turn inward. Like a microscopic army of sanitation workers, the autophagy system begins to scour every corner of the body. They search for aging cells, misfolded protein fragments, mitochondria depleted of energy, and especially zombie cells, cells that have stopped functioning but refuse to die, continuously secreting toxins that cause inflammation. The body will automatically engulf and break down these damaged components, turning them into recycled energy and using those very raw materials to build new, youthful, healthy, and vibrant cells. This autophagy process is the golden key to reversing biological aging. When cellular level waste is cleared out, you will see your skin become brighter and smoother, wrinkles reduce, the brain becomes incredibly sharp because protein plaques in the brain are cleared, and most importantly, it minimizes chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the root, the silent killer behind a series of devastating modern diseases, such as cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, cancer, or even Alzheimer's memory loss. When you fast, you are not just losing weight, you are pouring a stream of cool water to extinguish the fire of inflammation that is smoldering and burning the internal organs of your body.
So, the practical question is, how can we start this amazing process without feeling exhausted, trembling, irritable, or losing focus in our daily work? Many people have tried skipping breakfast and ended up eating twice as much for lunch because they were too hungry. Dave Asprey, the author of the book, advises us to apply the 16-8 intermittent fasting method. That means you will consolidate all your meals into an 8-hour window, for example, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and fast completely for the remaining 16 hours. However, 16 hours without food, especially in the morning when you need energy to work, can be a massive psychological challenge. To overcome this barrier and spectacularly hack the body, Dave Asprey brought forth an ultimate biohacking weapon named bulletproof coffee. This is absolutely not a sugary instant coffee or a normal iced milk coffee. It is a medical formula, a sophisticated combination of 3 ingredients: high-quality pure black coffee free of mold, pure butter from grass-fed cows, and most importantly, an extracted fat called MCT oil, specifically the C8 chain, caprylic acid. Why must it be the C8 chain and not regular coconut oil? Because coconut oil contains mainly the C12 chain, which takes a lot of time to digest. Meanwhile, the C8 chain is an extremely rare type of fat capable of going straight from the stomach, passing through the intestinal gateway, and rushing straight to the liver without needing any digestive enzymes. At the liver, it is immediately converted into ketones. What are ketones? It is a super clean energy source, a premium fuel for the brain, vastly superior to glucose. Our brains love ketones. When you drink a cup of bulletproof coffee in the morning instead of a loaf of bread or a bowl of pho, your brain is immediately drenched in ketone energy. The gnawing hunger instantly evaporates. Your mind becomes sharp. Focus is pushed to the maximum without any jittery feelings or midway energy crashes. But the most magical thing lies here. Because this coffee is entirely pure fat, containing absolutely not a single gram of carbohydrates or protein, your blood sugar and insulin hormones remain completely dormant at baseline. The pancreas is not awakened. Thanks to this, your body is completely tricked. Metabolically, it still firmly believes you are fasting, and it continues to maintain the state of autophagy, cleaning up faulty cells, while the fat-burning machine still operates at maximum capacity. You get abundant energy without breaking the benefits of fasting. That is the art of biohacking. Following that miracle, we must mention another core scientific concept posed by the book: metabolic flexibility. Imagine your body like a modern hybrid car, capable of running on two fuel sources, gas and electricity. Similarly, the human body is designed to run on two fuel sources, glucose from carbohydrates and ketones from stored fat. However, the majority of us modern humans are trapped in a metabolic prison. Because we continuously consume rice, noodles, pho, milk tea, and sweets all day long, our bodies lose the ability to use fat. It only knows how to use sugar. And when blood sugar levels drop after a few hours of not eating, we immediately fall into a state of low blood pressure, irritability, trembling limbs, and extreme fatigue. Our car has broken its converter to fat fuel. Intermittent fasting is an intensive gym for your cells, training them how to restore this transition switch. When you fast and step into the gym, the body cannot find sugar in the blood. It is forced to send an emergency signal, breaking down stubborn fat tissues accumulated in the belly, thighs, and biceps to create compensatory energy. At first, you may feel a bit weak, short of breath, and feel the weights seem heavier than usual. That is because the energy factories in your cells, the mitochondria, are not yet used to burning fat. But persevere. When your mitochondria have been trained and rehabilitated, you will see your endurance increase astonishingly.
You will no longer experience those extreme afternoon slumps at 3 p.m. Furthermore, fat provides a slow-burning, much more stable energy source, like burning a large log smoldering all night, instead of burning newspapers that flare up and die out, like when using sugar. Metabolizing energy from fat also produces fewer free radicals that cause muscle inflammation, helping you recover faster after high-intensity workouts. However, although fasting brings unparalleled benefits, Dave Asprey also issues a sharp warning about a deadly mistake that many people new to fasting make, that is, extremity and rigidity. Many people, when experiencing the initial benefits of fasting, begin to abuse it. They apply the one-meal-a-day diet, also known as OMAD, continuously, without stopping, from week to week, month to month. They think the longer they fast, the better, the faster they lose weight. This is a misunderstanding of evolutionary biology. The human body is an incredibly smart and vigilant survival machine. If you force it to operate in a continuous deficit of calories and nutrients day after day, it will not think you are trying to get a beautiful bikini body. It will conclude that you are living in a harsh ice age, a period of raging famine. Immediately, the body will react to save your life. The thyroid will reduce the production of T3 hormone, automatically lowering the basal metabolic rate to save every little bit of energy. The adrenal glands will pump out a large amount of the stress hormone cortisol. What is the result? You hit a complete weight loss plateau, even though you eat very little.
Your hair starts falling out, sleep quality plummets disastrously, skin becomes pale, you lose interest in everything around you, and always feel freezing because the body refuses to generate heat anymore. The smart solution here is constantly change the pace of your fasting. Become an unpredictable trainer for your body. Don't let it know what you will do tomorrow. You can fast for 16 hours during the first 3 days of the week to maintain cellular cleanup, then have a full protein-rich breakfast on Wednesday to awaken metabolism. Then challenge yourself again by fasting deeply for 20 hours on Friday to maximally activate fat burning. And on the weekend, relax, recharge, and eat comfortably with friends and family. This flexible variation, this continuous trickery, not only helps protect the metabolic rate from slowing down, but also trains the body to have an extraordinary ability to adapt to all living conditions. Moving on to another equally important physiological aspect, which, if ignored, all your fasting efforts will go down the drain. That is the inseparable intimate connection between fasting and sleep. Modern neuroscience has proven the time you fall into deep sleep at night is exactly when a miraculous system called glymphatic in the brain opens up. Imagine your brain is a bustling city. Throughout the day, as you think, work, and stress, This city discharges countless biological wastes, faulty proteins, and amyloid plaques, the main culprit causing Alzheimer's disease. When you are in deep sleep, the glymphatic system begins to pump cerebrospinal fluid into the tissues to wash, clean, and flush away all of this toxic waste.
However, what happens if you eat a dinner that is too full, too rich in energy, and too late, close to bedtime? Your body will have to rush a large amount of blood, oxygen, and energy down to the stomach and intestines to process that huge pile of food. As a result, the body's core temperature cannot drop, a prerequisite condition for entering deep sleep. Blood sugar and insulin hormone levels continue to remain high. The heart rate beats faster than normal. This noisy and busy activity of the digestive and endocrine systems causes the door of the glymphatic system in the brain to get stuck. The cleaning process is seriously stalled. That is why, even if you sleep enough 8 or even 10 hours, if you eat late at night, you will still wake up the next morning feeling sluggish, heavy, surrounded by brain fog, the body feeling as if it was beaten. The immutable golden rule that Dave Asprey emphasizes here is lock your eating window tightly and finish your last meal at least 3 hours before lying down in bed. This helps insulin levels drop to an ideal level, creating golden conditions for the pituitary gland to secrete a massive amount of HGH, human growth hormone, during the first cycles of deep sleep. HGH hormone is the body's fountain of youth. It helps recover torn muscles after a workout, burns excess fat while sleeping, and regenerates the skin, comprehensively rejuvenating your body from the inside out. Now, we must come to an extremely serious and particularly important medical warning, which the book Fast This Way has paid deep attention to. That is, fasting is absolutely not a free-size shirt that can fit everyone, especially for women. The male and female bodies have a huge, very profound difference in terms of biological evolution. While men can easily starve for a few days and still function normally, the female endocrine system has been designed and refined over millions of years of evolution to give ultimate priority to one function, that is, pregnancy, reproduction, and maintaining the survival of the species.
Because of this sacred responsibility, a special group of neurons in the hypothalamus of the female brain, called kisspeptin cells, is extremely sensitive to energy and calorie deficits. They constantly scan the surrounding environment to see if there is enough food to safely nourish a baby. When a woman fasts too strictly, forcing herself to fast for 18 to 20 consecutive hours, combined with high-intensity cardio training on an empty stomach, her brain will not understand that as a beauty weight loss goal. It will immediately recognize it as a signal of a disaster, a life-threatening famine. Immediately, the body will sound the alarm and activate the harshest survival mode. It will order a reduction or completely shut down reproductive functions to conserve energy for the brain and heart. The consequence of this stress from improper fasting is a serious drop in important sex hormones like estrogen and progesterone, leading to a series of heartbreaking consequences: menstrual cycles becoming irregular, lighter menstrual flow, or complete loss of period, hair starting to fall out in large clumps, brittle nails breaking, decreased bone density causing early osteoporosis, mood swings, and chronic insomnia. Therefore, the message for women is, absolutely do not force yourself to follow the strict fasting schedules of men if the body is speaking out against it with crushing fatigue. Start very gently. Cherish your body with 12 or 14 hours of fasting. Do not fast on days you have high-intensity training schedules, and always ensure your meals are filled with essential minerals, vitamins, especially iron, magnesium, collagen, and an abundant source of good fats. Never compare your own journey to girls on social media. Always turn inward. Listen, understand, and respect the most subtle signals from your own body. Finally, rising above all the physical, physiological, and aesthetic benefits, fasting also carries a profound spiritual and psychological significance. It is not by chance that all major world religions, from Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, to Hinduism, all consider fasting a core spiritual practice. When your stomach is empty, when you stop being busy with chewing, swallowing, and digesting, your mind will become quiet and strangely clear. Your senses are opened.
You will find yourself more fully present in every moment of the now. Dave Asprey advises us to turn fasting into a form of active meditation. Consider this a quiet space, a sanctuary for you to detoxify your mind from toxic dependencies, not only on junk food, but also on social media, negative information streams, or meaningless short-term pleasures. Fasting is how you give your physical body and soul a chance to return to the most primal, pure state, activating the strongest survival gene codes to self-heal wounds from deep within.
Do not turn fasting into a torture or a rigid dogmatic rule. Do not let it become a new source of stress in your already pressurized life. If one day you feel too tired, too stressed, and you accidentally break your fasting cycle with a sweet cookie or a chocolate bar, do not panic. Just eat it. Chew very slowly. Feel the sweet flavor spreading. Enjoy it to the fullest with all your senses, without any judgment, self-torment, or guilt. Stress and self-blame sometimes cause more inflammation and toxicity to the body than the cookie itself. The important thing is that you have equipped yourself with full knowledge. You have thoroughly understood the operating mechanism of the wonderful biological machine called the human body. You know how to forgive yourself, and most importantly, you know how to get back on track the next day with a firmer, calmer, and wiser mindset. I hope that through the knowledge journey and extremely in-depth scientific analyses today, you have obtained for yourselves a completely new, multidimensional, and most correct perspective on the art of fasting. Do not forget that all knowledge, no matter how good, is only empty theory. It only truly has the power to change lives when you bravely turn it into action. Try applying this knowledge to your life starting tomorrow, beginning gradually, patiently, and always using listening to your body as a compass. Thank you for taking your valuable time to watch and accompany this in-depth analysis video today. If you find these values and knowledge truly useful that can help someone out there, do not hesitate to press the like button, leave a comment sharing your personal experience, and share this video with your loved ones. Remember to subscribe to the channel so that we can continue to dissect together, explore countless other peak scientific personal development knowledge in the future. I wish you a new day filled with positive energy, abundant health, and always being in control of your body as well as your own life. Goodbye, and see you again in the next exciting topics.